local people have lost everything. They've lost their house, they've lost their animals, and it's devastating.
It certainly is. Right now, volunteers around the nation are rushing to support Hawaii as the death toll continues to rise due to massive wildfires. You've seen the images. The death toll now stands at 55, and that will likely rise.
Yeah, so one of the deadliest natural disasters in Hawaii history. A tsunami killed 61 back in the 60s. So with 55, we're approaching record-breaking numbers. The latest report says none of these deadly wildfires are contained. So we go to Red Cross now, joined with Christian Smith, who works with Jacksonville branch of the Red Cross, telling us more about local efforts. So what are those local efforts, Christian? Good morning, by the way, and supporting the victims in Maui.
So first and foremost, we have families all across the First Coast and across the state of Florida. And so as they're calling in and asking about the resources or how to connect with their families nationally across the country, we're trying to make sure that, as we get information, we're trying to help to reconnect those families. Locally, we start that process of sending out those volunteers. So we started to get those initial requests. We have so many volunteers that are already, they live on the island. They're part of the work that we do every day. So they're the kind of people that you're going to see. They're opening those shelters and staying in those shelters. They're the ones sitting there with a family providing that comfort and care. And this, none of us can imagine sitting there waiting to hear about their family members or waiting to hear, or the even more tragic where they've already had the loss of life or they've lost their home. So this time is so critical. So as we send volunteers in, we want to make sure that we send the best volunteers in and take the best care of people.
Christian, just about 30 minutes ago, you mentioned the fact that every year you guys are seeing more and more of these natural types of disasters. So obviously the need is there for volunteers. You have people likely watching now wondering, how can I help? How can I volunteer? What does that entail exactly?
Well, so every position is unique and special, and people often think about the sheltering component, and that's an easier piece because, going through the sheltering training, going through the orientation, whether you're going to be a shelter worker, maybe you want to be a shelter manager. So those have, about 25 to 30 hours worth of training. So there is a commitment to be involved with that. But we also have, people that drive our emergency response vehicle that passes out the food and does the water and supplies. So that's another area for those people that want to be, more hands-on. And then we have the group of people that come out and do the technology side or that work on the mental health side. So there's lots of different specialties. Some do require licenses, like for our nurses and for our mental health counselors, but then a lot of them require just the ability to leave their home and their families. And remember, 99% of the work being done on these disaster operations are being done by volunteers. So they're leaving their homes, they're leaving their families to take care of people, and they're doing it for about 3 weeks.
Christian, thank you. Right there with the first responders, the fire, the police, the rescue, Red Cross is always right there on those front lines, the first in. And we can't thank you enough for that work that you're doing, and hopefully get more and more people involved to help.
Thank you, Christian. Now, folks, we are always on your side, the First Coast, to help out. Consider making a gift to the Red Cross Disaster Relief. Visit redcross.org. Call 1-800-RED-CROSS. That's 1-800-733-2767. Or simply text the word Red Cross to make a $10 donation. Now, the American Red Cross is on the island right now, we mentioned, working around the clock to help.